Hey, hi there. Sorry if I frightened you. Welcome to Music as a Journey. I'm Peter Scove. Today's video topic is a scary one. I've been thinking about this. I've been watching for the last year and somewhat now a lot of different videos in the vinyl community and I guess overall general music community, because not everybody is into vinyl. Some people are buying CDs or CDs and vinyl. But I've seen a lot of videos, and especially with threads and tags and so forth, there are certain bands and certain albums that come up often. And people will usually say, everybody has this. And quite often, I don't. So I thought what I would do for today's video is pick 4 bands where I have a frightening amount of music in my collection. Or shall I say, a frightening lack of music from those bands. In fact, I'm sure that while watching this video, on at least 4 occasions, you will think me to be quite mad. But let's take a look here. The first is an album by a band known as Fleetwood Mac. Now, I'm sure there's one particular album that everybody has, and there are some other ones too that a lot of people have. Can you guess which one I have? That's right, I have this one, Then Play On. And if I remember correctly, this is the band's 3rd album. So this is going back to with Peter Green when he was still with the band, and they were still very much a blues-based band. Now, I bought this album because this includes, as a bonus track, the Green Manalishi with the 2-pronged crown. That's what it is, right? And the reason why I wanted it, if you know me, is because Judas Priest covered this song. And I always liked the Judas Priest version, at least the live one on Unleashed in the East. But later on, when I got the studio album version too, yeah, I still liked it. I think it's really cool. So I wanted to hear what the original sounded like, and I got this album for that. And I can tell you, I am not disappointed. That song, the Green Manalishi with the 2-pronged crown, the guitar music in that is ahead of its time, I would say. And it's no surprise that Judas Priest would record it in the late 70s, because it sounds like a late 70s heavy metal song as far as the actual music composition, the guitar playing in the song goes. Now, as for the rest of the album, it is supposedly a blues type album, and so I actually didn't really give it much attention the first time I got it. However, I was listening to it today during my commute and back again, and I found actually there are a lot of tracks on here that I really like. It's not just straightforward, 12-bar blues kind of a thing. There's a really good sound, first of all. The remastering on this sounds great. It's a really warm, full sound, really cool guitar sound. The band is really good sounding on here. I'm saying sound an awful lot, but hey, we're talking about music. I don't really remember now which tracks stood out for me, because many times I would stop and check my phone like, what's that? That sounds really good. But I do remember one track which I listened to again called Searching for Madge, which is an instrumental track, but a really fast-moving, grooving one with really good guitar sound. But it has some weirdness to it. Like at one point, the music just stops, and then you hear it really faintly in the background, and somebody goes, yes, yes, and then the volume comes in, and the music comes back, and again, we're grooving and playing and listening to the guitar, and then it stops, and there's some like giggling in the background, some people laughing, some guitar, some laughing, guitar and bass, some laughing, and then it comes back in again, and then again it stops, and we just hear some orchestration a little bit. It's almost like what's that track now from the Moody Blues, To Our Children's Children's Children? It's got a grooving instrumental track that then goes into this kind of spacey orchestral thing, goes back to the grooving part and goes into another kind of flutey orchestral thing, and then back to the grooving thing. It's a bit like that. But anyway, that is the one and only Fleetwood Mac album I have, and I bought it for just the one song. However, as I said, I am really pleased with the way it sounds, and as well, Oh Well is on here, parts 1 and 2, and Oh Well, the more rocking part. The second part sounds more like some epic 60s Western theme song. But part one is the rockin' song, and that was covered by Tourniquet, a Christian thrash metal, heavy metal band, which I have the first few albums. So anyway, my Fleetwood Mac collection is this, Then Play On. Do you think I'm quite crazy? Next up, now this is one I know Steve at All the World's a Stage would just be shaking his head if he knew this. I have, in my music collection, one album by Alice Cooper. And this is it. It's Killers. And the reason why I have it was back in 2021, I wanted to pick up more albums from 1971, and I ended up choosing this one from Alice Cooper. Other than that, I'm not really an Alice Cooper fan. Like, I dig him, what he has done for music, the image he has created, all that kind of thing. But I never was into listening to his music. I never bought any of his albums until just 3 years ago. What do I think about Killers? Well, actually, I really love the song Halo of Flies. If Alice Cooper's early stuff had been more like Halo of Flies, I would be absolutely mad for his early albums. Perhaps there are songs like that on some of the other albums, and I am thinking to pick up the one before this now. I do have that on the hit list. Aside from Halo of Flies, Dead Babies also is a little bit like that, as well as Killer. And the thing is that why I like them is that they are more drawn out compositionally. Like, the music changes, it does different things, it has heavy parts, it has a bit proggy parts. And I really like how he's done it. In fact, when I was listening to Halo of Flies tonight on my way home, one of the tracks I listened to, I actually thought I wouldn't be surprised if Rush hadn't drawn some inspiration from that song for their 2112 epic piece there. There are some moments that sound like a proto version of that. Other tracks on here, I'd say the ones that stood out for me were Yeah, Yeah, Yeah and You Drive Me Nervous, which is tracks, 5 and 6. Those ones I also thought were pretty good. I don't really remember Desperado, Under My Wheels and Be My Lover. Sounds like your pretty typical early 70s rock band type of thing. No, I really like that Halo of Flies, and to some degree Dead Babies and Killer as well. I think that is what I would like to hear more of, so I'm going to check out the previous album to this. So that is my Alice Cooper collection in one album, but with the promise of another one coming. Frightening, isn't it? All right, let's move up to some even bigger boys. I have in my music collection one album by the Rolling Stones. Can you guess what it is? Why, it's this one, Their Satanic Majesty's Request. This is my one and only Rolling Stones album. So, the reason why I bought it is because the song 2000 Light Years from Home is on here, and I don't remember where I heard that, but I really like that song. That might be my favorite Rolling Stones song. And I always thought myself a bit of an oddball for thinking that, because, you know, there are many other classic Rolling Stones songs that I think a lot of people would like. To be fair, I do like Start Me Up. That was one of the first rock songs in like the first group of rock songs that I ever listened to with my friends. So I do remember that one, and I might get that album someday. But no, I don't remember where I heard 2000 Light Years from Home, but I really, really like that song. So I bought this album. Also, what is cool about this album, Citadel is actually pretty neat. And of course, She's a Rainbow is a classic. It does get a little bit weird in places, She's a Rainbow, but overall it is a really beautiful song. I really, really like that. Now, my impression from the rest of this album was that it was just some kind of like bunch of partying drunk people in a studio, drugged up people in the studio. But listening to this album again, this morning and tonight, I actually liked quite a few of the tracks here, and I think it's the extended version, sing this song together and see what happens. This is the longer instrumental thing. I thought it was a bunch of musicians in a studio just, well, I'm going to play something and everybody just come in whenever you feel like it. And it does sound like that, but at the same time, it does feel like people are getting into the groove. And actually, I found I quite liked it. Partly also is I really liked the mastering on this album. This one also sounds really good. But yeah, there are also some weirdo type things on here, and I can't say I'm, big fan of everything, but I do actually like this better than I remembered. Okay, am I going to get another Rolling Stones album? Well, We Tattoo You, maybe, but is it just for the one song? And Exile on Main Street? Maybe, not sure. I actually did have a Rolling Stones album on cassette before. It was the one that had that song, what the heck was it called now? Anyway, Jimmy Page plays the guitar solo on it, and I bought it for that. Yeah. Okay. So, that is my Rolling Stones collection. And now, we're going to move up to an even bigger target. Can you guess? My
Beatles collection.
Yes, let me show you. Oh, you already guessed it's going to be one album? Fine. Yes, it's going to be one album, but can you guess the album? 3, 2, 1, cast your votes. Here it is. It's Revolver. Yeah, I never got into the Beatles so much, and I think it's just because I heard so many of their songs on the radio. It's like I didn't really feel I needed to explore their music more because I already heard so much of it. However, I worked with a guy who was really into the Beatles, and he said, Rolling Stone magazine said Sgt. Pepper's is their greatest album, but a fan vote said that Revolver was the greatest. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go with what the fans say, and I'm picking this one up. So I did. So Revolver, here we are. It's got Taxman on it. It's got Eleanor Rigby. It's got Love to You, actually. I want to mention that one. Here, There, and Everywhere. Yellow Submarine. Good Day, Sunshine. Dr. Robert. Got to Get You Into My Life. So a lot of the songs on here I already knew. Love to You, I want to mention because the Tea Party is, among my favorite bands. And when I did a video about the Tea Party's history last year, I read something where Jeff Martin said when he heard Love to You, that just clicked with him because it features sitar and Indian style music with a British electric rock band. And he said there was just something that went off in his head. He said, I don't know if you believe in past lives as a thing or not. He said, but I felt like I knew that music from a past life. And that's what really inspired him to, later on create a band like the Tea Party and then move the music in that direction, combining Eastern, Middle Eastern, and African influences. African meaning like the Arabic Africa, into an electric rock band. So that's inspired by that. I really like my favorite song, the song on here that really gets me, And Your Bird Can Sing. I love that song. It just came on tonight when I was walking home. I was listening to a lot of stuff walking home. It's a long walk, okay? And that song came on. It was just like, wow, yeah, that's it. That's my Beatles track. Now, not saying it's my favorite Beatles track, but just the ones that come to my head, it's that one. And what I love about it is it feels like a Sloan song. Sloan, the kind of Canadian Beatles, as they've sometimes been called, a 4-piece band, well, actually 5-piece for the last little while. But anyway, 4 members writing and singing and so on. That sounds like a song that they could have done with Chris Murphy singing lead, and then just the melodies, the guitar lines, and then the harmonized vocals that come in at one point really sounds like Sloan could have done a perfect cover of that. So that is really, I love that song. Yellow Submarine, I learned to sing in 1st grade at school. I remember my music teacher teaching us to sing Yellow Submarine. So I always thought it was a kid's song. Eleanor Rigby, I do like that one. I actually love the cover version by a band called Zoot, which featured Rick Springfield, an Australian band, and they did a heavy rock version of it back in 1970, 71. I really love that version. But if I might say, listening to this album for the first time in a really long time, I was surprised. There were two things I have to say. One, the songs are really bloody short, and they come in, do their thing, and they're done. That's it. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Finished. And it just made me think, like, couldn't they have done a little bit more? Like Taxman? They get to the last time singing Taxman, yeah, Taxman. And then this electric guitar comes in. It's like, yeah, we're going to get some lead guitar work. And the song fades out and it's done. Like, couldn't you have done, like, maybe 20 seconds more of that lead guitar and done something interesting with it? And some of the other tracks too, like they sing the verse, they do the chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, that's it, the song's over. So I feel that at this point in the writing game, they're writing really good music, but they're wrapping it up way too quickly, guys. Way too quickly. You could have done a little bit more. I think a lot of the other bands that I listened to from around this time, mid-60s, even if the songs are short, I feel there's more happening. Take a look at like Talk Talk by The Music Machine. It's just under 2 minutes long and it's got so much going on in there. I don't know. I feel it's a little too economical. And another thing is that I really don't like the way they mixed this. Like they're playing with the stereo, so it's like we're going to have the vocals in the middle. Then we're going to have the rhythm guitar, bass, and the drums. The drums are going to be really in the background, over in the right channel. And then the left channel, we're going to do the other guitar that does the lead guitar. And it's just really weird listening to it with in-ear earphones because, you know, Ringo Starr is off there somewhere playing the drums in the back, and there's some piano with him there too. And then we got George Harrison's guitar here, and I don't know, a lot of times I just feel like they're trying to make it sound like if you're playing it in your living room, you're going to feel like, hey, the drums are over there, and this guitar's there, and the bass is there, and the vocals are here in the front. But in-ear earphones, it just sounds like, you know, could you fix that somehow? So, I mean, really, like this one, love the sound on this one. And this one, great remastering. Wonderful, warm, great sounding album. Revolver, I don't know. But I am still thinking I should probably get Sgt. Pepper's at some point, and maybe Rubber Soul, I don't know. Might get there someday. Anyway, so there you go. My Beatles collection limited to this one disc. Isn't it frightening? So, yeah, obviously my music journey is mine. That's my music journey. And maybe some places I will go to the same places that many other people go to, but maybe sometimes I will not go there so much, and I might go find something else to look after, which other people, you know, will not be so interested in. But anyway, I thought I'd show this very frightening look into my music collection for this upcoming Halloween season. So thank you all for watching. Kindly leave your comments below. If you recommend another album that I should pick up, don't tell me Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. Okay, but I mean, anyway, no, whatever. Recommend an album you think I should get by any of these artists. That's all cool. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.